Howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. Let's see. Drop the magazine on this, don't you? Get this the slide to go forward. There. Yeah, that's it. Astra 400. Pistol used by the Spanish in the early 20th century. This one's probably a veteran of the Spanish Civil War. According to my Astra book, it was made in 1922 and delivered to the Guard Civil in 1924, somewhere in the northwest of Spain. Oh well. It's chambered in 9mm Largo, which is well, you know, like Parabellum is 9 by 19, 9mm by 19 inches long. 9 Largo is 9mm, same size bullet, but it's 21 inches long, and it's a little more powerful a pistol round than 9 Parabellum. And this happens to be a straight blowback gun with an extremely hard recoil spring on it, and that's the problem. Oh damn it! I got a problem with this slide release. It doesn't work quite right, and it has two problems. One is that if it's empty and you pull it back, you've got to really work at it to get the magazine out to put it back. The other is when you shoot it, for some reason, it's not strong enough to hold the magazine in place, and the gun drops the magazine out. Oh well, you know, I never get the most pristine guns in the world because they cost more. I get the old junkers that folks are tired of and getting rid of. You know, that's just me. It's I want an example of type, but I'm not as sticky about condition as some people are. You know, but then I don't have the money to be that picky. Yeah. Anyway, that's not really what this is more of a rant video than anything else. Last night I watched that interview that Carlson did with Vladimir Putin. Interesting, very interesting. Later I saw a press conference with Biden in which he demonstrated for the American people to see and experience and know for sure he has lost his mind, is a totally befuddled, senile old coot. My dad died about 12 years ago. He was in the last stages of Alzheimer's. I took care of him the last 2 years of his life. It is a very painful thing to do, very painful. My father had been a brilliant scientist in his youth, and he'd made a few discoveries that are noted today. But by the end of it, he wasn't sure who he was, what he was, or who we were. And it was just very painful for him and for us, because I could see that he could see that his mind was going, and he was frustrated by it. And he wasn't sure what to do. I mean, are any of us? And by the way, that experience has scared the hell out of me, because my grandfather, a great aunt, and my great-grandfather all died with Alzheimer's, or what we now call Alzheimer's. We called them being old and senile back then. It's in the family. And I'm getting up there in years. So I recite a lot of the things I know just to make sure my mind is still active and still capable. That's the other thing. My dad was like me. He had a photographic memory. And I think that's also in the genes, because my brother has it, I have it, my sister has it to a small degree. And we can actually, I mean, my subject was not science, it was history. But I can recite things about, I don't know, the Peace of Westphalia, or the Battle of Austerlitz, or whatever, that they're in the books. You can read about them, but I hate having to look things up. All my life it's just been frustrating for me to actually look things up. So what I do is I look at the book, I memorize it, and then I don't have to look it up because I know it. When I worked as a computer operator, I had to know all of the codes that the computer could generate that said, I'm broken in this way or that way. and they were in a book called IBM Messages and Codes. And it was a big fat book, about 4,000 pages. And it was just a pain in the butt to have to go find a copy of Messages and Codes, look up the code, and then read the cryptic error message that IBM techs who never learned a word of or a sentence in the English language their entire lives wrote to instruct people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, what they're meaning by IGF 422B select error. So that means that the thing ran out of a resource of some kind, memory or room, or maybe it was a tape that ran out before the data ended, or something like that. Anyway, you had to look things up. Damn, I'd still remember what what a 422 is. 522 is timeout. I remember that. 622 is if you have a printer, it's a page out. Talk about useless. You clutter your brain with useless things. We had IBM 029 card punches to punch out IBM cards. The problem was that when you punch out a card, it would do the card code on the card and then print out what it is on the top line. Well, the ribbon was always busted, so the top line always came out smudged or not totally illegible. So if you want to know what the card says, the best way to do it is to learn the punch code, which I knew. So I could look at a card and with a glance say, well, okay, that's a data card, or that's a JCL, or a job card, timeline cards, copies, forms. Those were the fields on a job card. Huh. Anyway, so you read them and you could know what's going on. Well, again, a useless skill in today's world. When you're into computers, about every 6 months to 2 years, you have to throw everything you know away and learn a whole new set of stuff. Whether it's for DOS or Windows or Mac or old Prime, or going way back, CPM or GSOS or DOS, various things that you have to know the command set for just to be able to get it to work. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you can program or not. It's just you have to know the basic command structure to know how it works. And that means you have to know the syntax of the language it's written in, all this stuff. And then when they obsolete that computer, throw away everything you just learned and learn a new one. It was that way with Windows 3.1, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000, well, actually NT4, Windows 2000, XP, Windows 8. Oh gosh, so many of them. And every one of them is different ways of saying, I'm broken and I'm here to make Bill Gates a lot of money. That's what it was all about. But anyway, watching Biden lose his mind, they're talking about invoking the 25th Amendment and taking him out because he's incompetent. Well, that leaves us with Kamala the cackling cow and word salad instead of whatever. Well, what Joe says is just gibberish, but what Kamala says in a totally different way is also gibberish. So I don't know if we can 25th her is just as quickly. I don't know. I'd like to see her resign, and then Mike Johnson would become president. I mean, he's the Speaker of the House, and he's next in line. Speaker of the House, then President Pro Tem of the Senate, and then you go through the cabinet members, as I recall. That's the order of succession. I don't know when that was put in. I think it was after Roosevelt that was instituted. But anyway, I don't know. We're in a world of hurt right now. Carlson and Putin really illustrated what's going on with, at least from Putin's perspective, with Ukraine, which is America is playing proxy games with it. One thing that people forget about Ukraine, before all this war stuff started, the one thing everybody was sure of is that Ukraine was the most corrupt administration in all of Europe. It was all oligarchs running the thing. Bribes were the de rigueur rule, and everything was always, skimming off 10% here, 10% there. Then they get in a war, and Biden insists that we send billions of dollars to them. Well, I know why. It's because Biden had his own business dealings there. Remember Hunter and some of his deals with the Ukrainians. And he would skim off his 10%. And basically, he wants them to continue getting money so he can take that extra 10% to his Cayman Island bank and make book. I mean, well, for him and for James and for Hunter and for the rest of his corrupt crime family. That's what's going on. I'm sorry, but that's what's going on. We live in interesting times. It's an old Chinese curse, and it's true. One thing you can say about Trump is he never started a war. And he did put in something that potentially could have ended the Middle East wars, the Abraham Accords. But that's all dust now. And the one thing he has accomplished is he has created wars on every continent, and we have benefited not one iota. Tell me what we got out of Afghanistan. Do you know that, what is it, we owe something like $20 trillion in debt right now as a country? $8 trillion of that was spent in Afghanistan, and we just walked away from it. Oh well. I'm an old man, what the hell do I know? And who's going to listen to me? Anyway, that's my rant for the day. Oh, Astra, interesting little weapon, based on a earlier design called the Campo Giro. Anyway, happy trails.